Conservative commentator Ben Shapiro responding to Democratic Socialist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez after being accused of catcalling for challenging her to a debate. Shapiro reacting moments ago on Your World with Neil Cavuto. Watch.
If she were to get into a discussion with somebody who asks her tough questions, I don't think she has the information or the philosophy at her disposal to actually answer those questions well. And she knows that, which is why her best move here would have been either to just ignore or to say no, and then everybody would have moved on with their life. But instead, it turned into her invoking victim status.
Why is it, Greg, that you can't challenge someone to a debate on the ideas without being accused of being a jerk? Like, I don't think Ben Shapiro has ever catcalled in his life.
Well, the thing is, what if a woman had challenged her to a debate? So she's actually being the sexist.
I think Candace Owens did.
Oh, really?
Now
there you go.
She has, like,
because
doubled the money.
So to answer your other question, she had to cloak her weak ideas in the armor of a smear. Because she's learned as a leftist, the best thing you can do is smear somebody if you don't have an argument. And the smears actually work. Nobody wants to be called sexist or racist. So generally, if somebody starts doing that to you, you walk away, you say sorry. If it happens on Twitter, you just get off and so it works. Unfortunately, it works. We have to learn to become immune to it, but it works. And I hope they do have the debate. I think it would be entertaining.
You know, actually, debating makes your arguments stronger. And I do think that for some of the people that are interviewing her in this last couple of weeks, and they keep showing it every day, is that she would benefit Kennedy from having more debate about her ideas, because then she would strengthen her position, if she still believes in it after she learns the facts, and then could be more persuasive.
I have been taking apart some of her arguments all week long on my Fox Business show. I would love for her to come on and really sit down and talk about some of these issues. I wouldn't catcall. I don't see Ben Shapiro as being a particularly hypersexualized person who was...
He's a wild man, Kennedy.
And I don't know why she had to take
Look at him.
to a place where, you know, because of his gametes, he was somehow trying to oppress her ladiness. That wasn't happening at all. And he said, you can't answer for some of the claims that you've made. And one of his questions was, name one sector you would keep private. And, you know, I don't know that she would be able to...
Hey, stop catcalling. Enough of that. Richard, are the Democrats kind of frustrated that she's getting so much attention?
Well, no, it's a funny story, because I think if you take the 30,000-foot view on this particular this story, you would say that she's one person running for one seat out of 435 different seats.
Then why does Tom Perez call her the future of the Democratic Party?
He calls her the future Democratic Party because she's young, she has energy, she's vivacious, she's willing to...
She can't answer basic questions.
But she represents... No, hold on a second, Kennedy, let me finish. Here's what you have with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She ran against Joe Crowley, a very old, entrenched Democrat. She beat him by outworking him, by out-knocking him, by talking to more voters. That's what makes her the future of our party, because she understands that the only way to win as a Democrat is to engage in your backyard and have real conversation with her constituents. Do her ideals align with the people in New York 3rd District? Absolutely. But they don't align with the people in the Georgia 6th District, because every race is different. What Republicans are trying to do here is trying to put the whole Democratic Party on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez so that they can win this midterm election. But we don't have to do that, because we have better candidates running all across the country.
She's shown herself to be incompetent.
Because the cameras are always in her face.
But this is a little bit of this is, well, what Ben Shapiro is talking about is on the merits. There is I agree with you, there is a little bit of politics going on, but on the merits, do you think these issues should be debated?
Well, a couple points. Number one, I haven't heard gametes on television since 3rd grade with Sister Ellen watching a genetics video. So, Kennedy, that is huge. Thank you very much. You made my day there, gametes.
Are you catcalling her?
I don't even know what that is.
No more catcalling.
I want to catcall you, Greg, in a minute.
I'm used to that from you.
You know what?
You're laughing about it, but honestly, on the left, it's a serious question. Like, you can't have a conversation without being called what I call the istophobic phobophobes. If you're a conservative, you're anything that ends in an ist or a phobe. Now, granted, yes, the world, unfortunately, is populated by some people who think that way. 99% of the conservatives I run into are not those people. And this does nothing for a cause. But secondly on this, I ran for office, I lost. It's hard. And I want to applaud her on what she did. She went out there, and I mean it. She knocked on a lot of doors, and she worked hard. But now, after winning the primary and likely going to be the general election victor here, it's her responsibility, as Kennedy just said, to actually know stuff. And going out there and spouting off nonsense arithmetic about programs we can't afford and not having basic answers, that's just completely irresponsible.
Although I just had a thought. Greg, do you think that Nancy Pelosi prefers Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to be out there taking the heat rather than her, because she became the issue in all of these campaigns?
I mean, we've done Alexandria every day for the last 6 months. No, but it's true. But so is, I mean, the thing is, she does represent something. She represents kind of like the naive romanticism that you can kind of play along and no one questions.
You mean the poems that you write when you're 15 years old?
But I think that this is a real possibility for her. You know, if she does read and she does actually get up to speech, she could be a challenge. But she hasn't.
Just have some grasp of the numbers. Some of the stuff she says is totally irrational.
You can't say, two things. One, she gave the worst non-defense of Nancy Pelosi and showed that it's not just the moderate Democrats who have a problem with the potential future speaker, but it's also the commies. They also don't like her. And then when she was asked how they were going to pay for Medicare for all, she said, we'll save so much money not having to pay for those funerals.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So here's my take. I mean, I think this ideal of saying that she doesn't have any facts. I mean, she gave a couple of bad interviews. She's a new candidate. She's new to the scene.
She says like a lot. You admit that.
She does, but that's because she's new to the camera. And if the camera's in your face every day and you're new to the camera and you're not prepared for that life,
then maybe she should wait a while before
But here's the thing, but there's also Republicans who gaffe all the time. I mean, we could run Corey Stewart memes over and over and over again out of Virginia, and he's just as bad as Alexandria.
Thank God the media doesn't do that sort of thing.
Well, not